Curiosity. You probably never thought about curiosity as a business tool or as a way to grow your business or to improve your marketing. But curiosity is key if you want to innovate. And today, what I wanted to share are 3 questions that you can use to get curious about your business and about your marketing. And the 3 questions are why, how it feels, and what if. Pretty simple, right? Why, how it feels, and what if. Let me break it down for you. So the first one is pretty obvious. Why? And as entrepreneurs, we probably ask this the most. Why is this happening? Why are people interested? Why isn't it going better? There are a lot of whys that we ask. But when we really dig down on the why and when we get curious around why, we can start asking questions about why is my ideal customer dealing with this? Why aren't they solving this problem on their own? Right? Why are other businesses offering something or succeeding in a certain way? Why do people resonate with this one topic and not with another? There are a lot of whys that you can ask when it comes to your business in general, but also with your marketing, right? Why did people watch this video and not another video? And more importantly, why would someone watch this video? Why would they keep watching this video? That's the number one question you need to be asking when you're planning your videos, when you're planning your content and your marketing. Why would someone keep watching? Why would someone buy? Why would someone click? When you ask that question before you start sharing content, you can shift your content to answer that why. You want the answer to that why to be because there's no other choice, right? Of course they're going to keep watching. Of course they're going to click. Of course they're going to buy. So why can be a really powerful question to ask, and it's so important for you to get curious around that why. So don't go to the pat answer. Don't go to the obvious answer. Really dig deep on that why. So that's the first question that can help you use curiosity as a tool in growing your business and creating marketing that works. The second question, and there's so many questions you could use in getting curious, but the second question that I suggest you use is how? But specifically, how does it feel? Now, when you're talking about your business, you want to think about that from the perspective of how does it feel to receive my service, to use my product? How does it feel when someone is in a state where they need my service or my product, when they're dealing with that pain point? How does it feel? That's going to shift how you think about your business. And in a marketing perspective, how does it feel when I share this piece of content? How does it feel for the person who's receiving this content to get this information? And the reason you want to ask that is when you ask how does it feel, you can get a little bit deeper with your content. You can connect with them on a much more emotional level when you're thinking about how it feels. And oftentimes when we go to that level and we ask how does it feel, we can alleviate some of the frustration and the pressure, and we can answer the resistance that someone might have to receiving the information or the value that you're offering, because they might be dealing with things like a negative self-perspective or a negative self-image or doubt, right? They may be thinking, oh, I've seen this before. So how does it feel to them? Think about that, and it's going to allow you to connect on a much deeper level with your content and get really curious about it. Get curious not about how it feels to you, but how does it feel for the person who you're providing the service for, your ideal customer, the person watching your videos or reading your blogs or listening to your podcast. How does it feel? Get curious about it. And the third thing you should get curious about is what if? And I'm not suggesting you go down the negative path, because I know for a lot of people, the what if question leads to all kinds of rumination and negative thoughts. No, what I'm talking about is what if from an innovative perspective. So innovation comes from the question, What if? What if I tried this? What if I changed my offer? What if I added a bonus in? What if I changed the colors on my website? What if? Right? And from a content perspective, asking the question, what if, is a great way to add story into your content because you may have a story that answers that question, what if? So when you get curious around what if, it's going to unlock some creativity for you. So what if can be a really powerful question, and it can really inspire the curiosity that you need in order to take your business to the next level. Because when you use curiosity, when you apply curiosity to your business and you take a step back, you get out of that day-to-day of running your business, and you create a little bit of that sort of mental white space, some creative space, and you start to get curious on those three levels, and you ask those questions of why, how it feels, and what if. Well, that's when you're actually going to be able to innovate. It's when you're going to be able to create shift and change in your business. You're going to try new things, and that's when you're going to discover what works and what's powerful. And on top of that, when it comes to your content, it's going to be immensely more impactful because you are thinking about who's consuming that content, right? All of these questions that I said you should be using in creating your content force you to think about who's consuming the content because you're getting curious about them. You're getting curious about how the content makes them feel, why they would be consuming it, and what can happen if they take advantage of the content you're sharing and the value that you're sharing in your content. What if they did the thing that you're suggesting? So that's what's going to happen to your content. So when you can innovate your business through curiosity and improve your content, that's going to allow you to serve your customers better. It's going to mean that people find more value in what you do. So all of those things lead to, of course, business growth. And that's what we want, because the more people we can help, the more impact we have, and the more our business can grow. All of that from just being curious. So this is my question to you, because I am curious. How will you use this information? Which of these questions that I shared with you, these curiosity triggers, will you use? Because you could use them right now. You could use them today. And what if you did? What if you used these curiosity triggering questions to re-look at what you're doing with your business and your content? So my question is, which will you use? Why? How does it feel? Or what if? Pop that in the comments. I really want to know which of these resonated the most with you, which one you think will be the most powerful for you in terms of innovating, making your content better, and helping you serve your customers even better. Put it in the comments, just a quick why, how it feels, or what if, and I look forward to seeing those in the comments. All right, have a great day.